Now, the key to what we look at as successes, and this truly is it, when we imagine something and when we act on as best we can and move in the direction, the ability to flow or have the energy flowing through us is what we actually call success. And then you have to get there. If I literally follow directions to get to San Diego, I know I will get there. But getting to San Diego wasn't the success. The success was the whole journey from beginning to end. San Diego is just the validity to the fact that I made it there. But then, now that I got there, where else can I go? So it never ends. So the fact that it never ends, stop trying to finish. And just let the imagination lift your frequency. Because the imagination is a place where it's a feeling. Like somebody was asking me today, what does heaven look like? Well, you can make it whatever you want to look like, but it's more of what does heaven feel like? And heaven is your imagination. Your imagination could also be hell. There's a lot of people imagine, oh shit, this is going to... And when you imagine, you keep imagining that life is going to, hell in a handbag, all of a sudden you get impulses to act on them to get you to hell in the handbag. So it's understanding which direction. Like I said, imagination is something you always and forever use. You can use it mundane, getting groceries. You can get it to start an empire, or you can get it to go to hell. Either way, the physics works. So, but when we understand how it works, you'll then consciously choose to utilize it in the direction you want. You don't have to really think about it when you go to groceries, but when you contemplate, when you actually look in your refrigerator, there's nothing there, you have to imagine seeing the milk, the eggs, and everything else in order to get it. But it happens so quickly, we just discard that as your imagination. But that really is it. It doesn't just happen. But it's mundane because we do it all the time. So if we sit here, and the purpose is to just elevate us to new experiences. Most of us will continue in the circular movement in life. And we trudge. Like you can walk 10 miles in a circle. Or you can walk 10 miles in a linear fashion. The difference is the linear will just create more experiences. And that's what we came here to do. But sometimes you need the inertia build up to go in a circle. But if you stay there too long, you create a trench. But then you get out of it. So you're not always having to go straight. But knowing that you can get out of it, knowing how the physics works, is what enables us to move towards it. And then the possibility of any imagination, because if you can imagine it, it is possible. All right? Now, it'd be very difficult to imagine, like it would be difficult for me to imagine being a quarterback for the New York Giants, because the probability is not there. So it wouldn't even be a fun imagination. It really wouldn't. But if I was actually dreaming and thinking about being the quarterback for the New York Giants, the probabilities would be set into my place. We often try to follow the social rules of what we should imagine being. And the probabilities don't work for us. That's why a lot of people never get to the point where they achieve it. Or if they do, when they get there, they're exhausted, they don't like where they're at. So, mom and dad says, I must become a doctor. So in order to get to med school and do that and actually become a doctor that they want you to say that, you had to imagine it. But it was dreadful because it wasn't what you wanted to do. But you can do it. And if I really put my mind to it, I probably, but no, I don't want to be a quarterback for the Giants. So let's take that off the plate right there. But as we start to understand the physics of it and know that it's possible, then imagining becomes fun. People are scared to imagine because when we imagine something beyond the place we're at, it feels good. What they're scared about is never achieving that feeling good. It's like looking at pictures of Hawaii and never going. So you're going to eventually say, I don't want to look at the pictures anymore, because you don't understand the physics of it. But when you understand it, you're going to look at that picture, generate a feeling, you're going to create the picture, and then know, I'll take the step the best I can. You won't, like if I wanted to get to Hawaii, all right, and I thought Hawaii would be the greatest place for me, I'm not going to end up in Alaska, but I might end up in the Bahamas, in a sense. I might end up on the beach there. And if I do, it would be better suited for me. And this usually happens in the beginning. When you get really good at this, you can get specific. Because your higher self, through your imagination, knows what's best for you, because you're looking for the feeling. You think you can get it in Hawaii, but it would probably be more suitable, easier to go to the Bahamas. But sure enough, you're not going to end up Alaska or Greenland having this experience, because that's not how it works. But when you get better, if you want to go to Hawaii, you'll make it to Hawaii. But in the beginning, sometimes moving you in a direction that's very similar or close to it, a lot of times it turns out to be even better than what you imagined. Because the human brain doesn't have the capacity to imagine beyond the experience it already had or watched. With the higher mind, there's so much more experience. So think about 60 years ago. We wouldn't be talking about cell phones, would we? All right? Somebody had to imagine them. Well, now it's a mundane imagination. We don't, it's something here. Well, think about the future 50 years from now. What will we be doing? Well, reach for that imagination and move towards that. And do it from a personal standpoint. And the reason we do it is to elevate our frequency in order to start a new journey of experiences. And stop trying to finish it. Get through it quickly. The reason it's setting that up is before I get there, my higher self understands what experiences I need to know, what lessons I need to learn in order to fully enjoy the fulfillment of that. Or else I become spoiled and not understand why. And then I just keep wanting and wanting and wanting and wanting. So a lot of times it's slowing you down, not to punish, but to let you learn more, because if it slows you down and you learn more lessons from it, when you get there, you actually understand the enjoyment more than when you actually had the imagination. This is why I ended up here.